90% went to the top 10%. So, here we had a situation where during the 8 years of Mr. Clinton, 23 million plus jobs were created in those 8 years with higher taxes. Then this enormous tax break for corporations, people with capital gains, enormous tax breaks in 1983, which continued till today. And from that time, there were, during the Bush years until 2008, 3 million jobs. So 25 million jobs, 23 to 25 million jobs under Mr. Clinton with higher taxes. Taxes get lowered, 3 million jobs in 8 years. So, if lowering taxes was the issue, how do you explain that? Regulations. Well, for example, the Koch industries, the Koch brothers, who run Americans for Prosperity and all these other things, and were big funders of Tea Party and other things, they have they and other major corporations and mining interests want to do away with the EPA. And I admit, I don't like regulations any more than anybody else does. They're a real burden sometimes. But it's different on an individual basis how it affects you as opposed to a corporation. And one thing you must understand, regulations are not for people who do the right thing. That's important to know. I've seen commercials where a man has an acre of land on the side of a nice stream. He's going to build a cabin. And he decides somewhere down near there that he needs to fill in some land so it'll be more level. And then all of a sudden, the EPA or Interior or somebody comes in and they tell him, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's going to have to stop it right there. What do they call it? Oh, we can go. You can't do that. That's wetlands. That's wetlands. You can't fill that in. You got to leave it swampy like that. And you say, hey, this is private property. I bought this to put, this beautiful little cabin on and have a nice place. And you're telling me I can't do this on my own property. That's right, you can't. And that's a done deal, okay? So that's the commercial you see. And you think, oh my God, EPA is doing that? That poor man. What the government is just riding roughshod over these poor individuals. Do you honestly believe that the Koch brothers, Koch Industries, cares about some individual up in Minnesota or Idaho or someplace building this little cabin? That's why they're going to spend millions and millions of dollars to try and kill EPA? No. That's ridiculous. Koch brothers owns Georgia Pacific. You can watch a video of the discharge from some of their mills, their paper mills, that go right into rivers and streams. And there's a particular one that I'll hope to put on the website as well that shows the effects of that plant and its runoff on the people who live downstream. The increases in cancer, the air that can be unbreathable to the people unfortunate enough to live downwind. So why do they want to kill EPA? To do good things for some poor little retiree that wants to build a cabin? No. Because they want to pollute. They want to be free to pollute without being regulated. Why? Because for their chemical and other discharges, for them to make sure that they're clean and don't contaminate the environment, that costs money. And they don't want to spend that money. They want profits. And keeping their businesses clean costs them money. They don't want to pay it. So when people talk about doing away with the EPA, they're not out there to save you so that you don't have to smog your car anymore. They're out to do some major polluting of our water and air. Another prime example is the people that do the clear top mining in West Virginia. And that's where you take a mountain and you just shave off the top because there's coal under there. And that's the easiest way to get to the coal. So you shave that top of that mountain off and you dump all the whatever it is around in the surrounding valleys and riverbeds. And that's the cheapest way to get the coal. So what happened? The EPA this year stopped a major mountaintop operation, shut it down. Now that cost West Virginia some jobs. No doubt about it. It did. But you need to understand, when they clear cut these, clear top these mountains to get the coal out, what you're left with after that is devastation. You're left with devastation. Those streams and rivers that not only are polluted and covered up and polluted from whatever comes for miles and miles around, and those valleys that are filled, that whole ecosystem is dead. Now what they will do is they say, well, we will bring that back, restore it. We'll restore that to a pristine state once we're done mining. And so they'll contour some little places, and they'll take a load of big boulders, dig a ditch, put the boulders in there, and say that's a stream. You cannot. It is not possible. You can look it up. It is not possible to restore a stream to its natural ecological state. It cannot be done. Cannot be done. And they will plant some trees, and they will plant some grassland. And ladies and gentlemen, there are pictures of what those areas look like 20 years after they've been restored. It's a moonscape. Because what they do is they may green it up for a few months by dumping a bunch of fertilizer on it, but in essence, it is the same thing as putting lipstick on a corpse. That whole area is dead. Once you take that coal out and spread all this junk around, you have killed that area. It'll be back maybe in a few thousand years, but you've done it for the money. You've done it for the money because it's too difficult to get the coal another way. You've done it for the money because you won't invest in clean energy. And those jobs, once that clear mining is done, they're gone too. So I understand people want to work 6 months longer. They might be able to work on that mine for 3 to 5 years, but those jobs are going to be gone too. And what you're going to be left with then is unemployed people and a totally destroyed environment. So the Koch brothers and the big coal mining interests, the big utilities that depend on coal, they're the ones that are out to kill EPA. And it's not to save that guy on the edge of that stream. It's because they want to be free to pollute. You need to know that. Regulation is not for people who do the right thing. And as far as small business goes, I even have a little bit of a thing what small business people said about what their problem was about hiring. Here's one. What are the most important problems among small business owners? Here it is, folks. Poor sales. Poor sales, 28%. Government regulation, 18%. And taxes, 16%. Any small businessman will tell you that is honest. And I mean small businessman now. I'm talking about small business because I think a small business can have up to 500 employees or whatever it is. But I'm talking about the small businesses that have, say, 150, 200 employees or less, or even much smaller than that. Their problem is not that they're overregulated or overtaxed. They'll tell you their problem is nobody's got any money to buy from me. Nobody can go to that. If I'm running a small pizza shop and I depend on the working men and women in my neighborhood to stop by and buy a pizza now and then for my livelihood, and these people are losing jobs, having their wages cut, seeing all their electric bills go through the roof, you tell me, what's the first thing I'm going to stop doing is buying pizzas. Say you're a dentist. You tell me, when working men and women get their wages cut, what's the first thing that they stop doing? Going to the dentist. Suddenly it becomes a luxury. And their children. So the thing that small business needs, and every small businessman knows this, is to put America back to work. When these people are bringing home a paycheck, that's when they'll start doing business with the people in their neighborhood, and that's what will make them survive. Because the less money you have, and we are making less and less and less all the time, the less money you have, you may say, I don't want to go to Walmart. But when you look around, you're going to say, yes, I'm going to buy that at Walmart instead of this local place. Even though I'd like to patronize them, I do not have the money. And so then working people like us actually become part of the problem because our wages are so depressed, or if we're out of work or whatever it might be, we feel compelled to go to Walmart because that's the only place where we can get enough to take care of our families. But at the same time, think about it. When these, by doing that, we are first off killing local small businesses, and second off, we're buying more foreign goods, goods made outside our country, which the more we buy, the more jobs are created over there, less jobs here, and maybe it'll be our job next.